In this Dartmoor Classic Riders Safety Brief, we're going to take you through some of the key areas that you need to be aware of to have a safe and enjoyable ride. We'll cover your arrival and start procedure along with timings. So yes, now it would be a good time to stop the music. Sean? We'll also talk about the signs out on the course and some of the hazards you might come across. And just in case you don't manage to avoid all the hazards, we will talk about the medical support and what to do in a proper emergency. So, arrival. Once you get through any traffic, park your car, say your goodbyes, unload your stuff and walk to the racecourse. Walk back to your car because you forgot your favourite socks that were given to you just for this event, and finally back to the racecourse. Maybe here I should just mention, leave enough time to travel. At the racecourse, our welcoming marshals will guide you in from the main entrance to a suitable place for you to get ready to begin your ride. Isn't that right, Sean? When you're ready, you make your way to the back of the queue in the start lane, but not before the earliest start time for your route. For the Grande route, that's a worm-catching 5:45 AM. For the Medio riders, it's a more civilised 7:15 AM. And for the have a lay-in, grab a breakfast, check your latest Facebook Piccolo riders, it's 8:45 AM. And for those who did not allow enough time for your travel, you must join the start lane by 9 AM. Now, let's get you started. So you're in the start lane queue, 2 abreast, and this year with a social distance of at least 1 metre. Preferably more if you're wearing your favourite cycle jersey but didn't quite get round to running it through the wash. Towards the front of the queue, you will be assigned to a ride group with a maximum of 50 riders. Won't they, Sean? Your ride group will start behind its own lead-out car, van or ride ambassador. How can you tell if it's a ride ambassador? Because they will be wearing
the Dartmoor Classic rucksack, built in a durable cotton weave of black material.
Stop! The important thing to remember is the ride ambassador's rucksack has yellow wording and you're not allowed to overtake them. The ride ambassador, van or car will lead your group at a leisurely, safe pace for about 2.5 miles all the way to Claypits Way, where they will move aside and let you head off into the distance to complete the ride at your own pace. Timing is everything. Isn't that right, Sean? 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 Your official time starts when you go past the control tower and ends on your return past the control tower. This is the control tower, except that it's not here because we won't put it here until the event. However, more importantly, the clock does not stop when you enter or leave the feed stations. Those on the Piccolo ride can go back to reading their Facebook or emails or wherever for a minute, as they don't need to hear this next bit. So for the Medio and Grande riders, there is timing point at Princetown feed station. You have to go past. You don't have to stop or nod your head or ask, will it stop the clock? Because it won't. It just needs to know you have arrived and left. The Grande riders get to do this twice. Once at 33 miles and then on a second visit at 73 miles. And to make sure you don't miss any beautiful Dartmoor sights, there is another timing point at Lidford around 50 miles. So as we have said already, timing is everything. It's not everything. The Dartmoor Classic is not a race, and as you will be sharing the road with other road users, you must comply with the law and highway code, even if that means your time may be a fraction slower. So the route is clearly marked with black arrows on a yellow background. Whatever the colour, most signs will have a large Dartmoor Classic logo on, and this should be the right way up, DC as opposed to OP. Not all of the minor junctions are signed, so at these points go straight on. When you are required to change direction or road at a junction, these will be signed, and in most cases you will see a happy marshal, won't they? Sean? Moving swiftly on, marshals are at key locations to assist you with directions and somewhere to dump your rubbish. However, the onus is on you to make sure it's safe for you to proceed. So moving on. So in this section, we'll go through a few potential hazards you need to be aware of. Steep descents, cattle grids, animals, more animals, horses in particular, potholes, and local communities. As this video seems to be heading downhill fast, it's a good time to warn of steep descents. There are some caution signs on the course to remind you, but take care at all times, making sure you can stop. But not on cattle grids, which are our next hazard. Designed to bend wheels and cyclists, especially when wet. To avoid their design purpose, keep your bike upright and in a straight line, plus use your brakes before the grid and definitely not on it. Cattle grids are also designed to keep animals on Dartmoor, where they are very likely to be on the road, or if not currently on the road, quite likely to run on the road just in front of you. So, give roaming Dartmoor animals such as sheep, cattle and ponies plenty of room and slow down. You're also likely to see horses and riders, or riders without horses if you've not slowed down or given them enough room. It's a good idea that if you see a horse and rider, to talk so both horse and rider know you are there. What do you talk about? The weather? The view? Your tasty meal at the feed station? But that's not really the point. The main thing is
not to shout!
Not to shout. One thing you can shout about though is potholes. Yes, like most of the country, there are potholes on the course. Pay attention, you might spot a few. If you do see a pothole or debris, point it out so the other cyclists can see it too. An important thing to also point out here is that locals are not a hazard as such. In fact, maybe we're the hazard. Basically, you will cycle through small, rural communities with local residents who enjoy the quiet and tranquil way of life around Dartmoor. Sometimes the speed and volume of riders passing through can be intimidating, especially if the resident is on the side of the road or wanting to cross. Therefore, please slow down and pay particular attention. Be courteous and polite and do not get drawn into any arguments or road rage. So please be aware, it only takes one short outburst of bad behaviour to have a lasting consequence for the Dartmoor Classic. A hazard we would like to avoid. There is one other hazard in fact, and that's litter. Please put your rubbish in your pockets, in a bin, or leave it with a marshal, like Sean.
Come on.
He loves to take your litter, in contrast to other users of Dartmoor who love them more as it is without litter. Sadly, litter dropped en route remains our biggest event complaint, so please help us to change that this year and keep Ken happy. Keep Sean happy. We've covered a lot so far, but before we take a break, let's talk about taking a break, in particular, a toilet break. If you do need to answer a call of nature, please do it away from view. Or in preference, in a portaloo, at the feed zones, or in one of many toilets available around the route. Can we take a break now? Piccolo riders will also be relieved to know at this point they can return to their Facebook posts as they will not be visiting the Princetown feed station. For the Medio and Grande riders, This is the Princetown Fee Station. Only at the moment is it the fully functional Dartmoor Brewery, where they love making great beer. So unfortunately, there will be no beer on the day. However, at the feed station, there will be water, food, a cycle mechanic and a warm, smiley welcome. And if that is all too much for you and you need to retire, there is a Dartmoor Classic recovery bus to take you safely back to Newton Abbot. If for any reason you do decide to retire, please text event support to let us know. Sean, what are you doing? What are you, injured, sick? Which conveniently brings us on to medical support. If you are sick, are you sure you're not sick? Or someone has had an accident and clearly requires hospital treatment, call 999 first and then call event support. Do you have a number for event support? Also, call event support for any other cases that do not require emergency hospital treatment. Really, Sean? Is this the event support number? No. This is a note saying that the event support number is on the rear of your bike number. When you find the event support number on the rear of your bike number, you can use it at any time during the event to get assistance. We have mechanics, medics and support crews out on the course who should be able to get help to you. Why are you still texting? Oh yes, he's texting because we need you to text to keep the lines free for emergency calls. So in this video, we've gone through the main areas of safety and what to do if anything should go wrong. But what we haven't done is thank you as participants for taking part in the Dartmoor Classic, one of the UK's finest sportive events. Have a safe and enjoyable ride in one of the most scenic areas of the Southwest. So we hope you meet many great and friendly people throughout your day and get to achieve the ride time you're aiming for. Isn't that right, Sean? 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 Sean, we forgot to mention about the weather being a hazard. Sean? Sean? Sean, are you over the other side of that hedge? Sean, are you there? Sean!
Cheers. Have a great ride.